Sometime in one of my videos, I mentioned something about realizing that your mortgage payments most times does not translate 100% to equity. Now, this is how it works. The amortization payments is inclusive of the principal and the interest. Now, someone asked me to show how interest is calculated, that I just talked about it. He wanted to see in practical terms how to calculate interest. So I promised I'm going to make a video and use the whiteboard to illustrate exactly, what we mean by interest and interest rate. Interest is the basis, that the market operates on. People will need money to make investments, and people will have surplus to invest somewhere. So to the person who is collecting money to invest, he's paying some money, and to the person who is giving the money, he's collecting some interest. So interest could be cost, interest could be revenue. I'm sure those of you that are into accounting will understand that better. But for my buyer and seller clients, I don't want to drag you into accounting. We just want to understand how interest and interest rates work. You can calculate interest either as simple interest or as compound interest. Interest itself is that cost or the revenue that you get from lending or borrowing money. Interest rate is the measure whereby interest is calculated, and this measure is expressed in percentages. Don't be scared when you hear percentages. I'm going to make it easier for you to understand. Anytime you hear percentage, know that what we're talking about is that the total sum is going to be divided by 100 into 100 equal parts. How do we calculate interest? Interest is what? Interest is calculated as principal times rate times time over what? 100. You remember I said interest is expressed as a percentage. So when you want to get that percentage, you divide everything by 100. This is simple. This is the part you've been waiting for, right? Good. Let's go straight to it. Assuming you have a property that the principal, the loan you want to collect from the bank is $500,000. Your principal becomes $500,000. The rate is that rate you agreed with the bank or with the mortgage person. If it's 5.5, if it's 3%, if it's 7%, whatever it is, just put down the rate. What is the rate you're getting? The rate is, let's say, 5.5, similar to what we have in the market right now. Time is the duration you're going to have this loan. It's always expressed annually or monthly. So if we say is 1 year, time is 1. If you're talking of 2 years, time is 2. If you're talking of, if you want to express it in months, then you count 12 months, 24 months. So you have to be consistent in your metrics. Okay, so for this property, how much interest are we going to pay in 2 years, for instance? So once you ask that question, how much in how many years? 2 years. Go straight and put that your time there is what? 2 years. So interest on this for 2 years is going to be, remember, principal, right? 500,000 times rate 5.5 times what again? Time. All over 100. 0 cancel 0, 0 cancel 0. We are left with 5,000 times 5.5 times 2. And what would that give you? Somebody do the math for me now. Okay, so we'll have 5,000 times 5.5 times 2, and that will be 55,000. So if you borrowed 500,000 and you're going to use it for 2 years at interest rate of 5.5%, how much interest are you going to pay over 2 years? The way to calculate it is principal times rate times time over 100. So you're saying the principal is 500,000, which is what you borrowed. The rate is 5.5%, and remember that interest is expressed in what? Percentage, and when we're talking about percentage, we're talking about what? Hundreds. So when you're talking about interest that will be paid on 500,000, the best way to get it is 500,000 times 5.5, which is rate, times the time that you're talking about, which is 2 years, or divided by 100. So if 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0, you're left with 5,000 times 5.5 times 2, and that is what? A loan of 500,000, for instance. The interest will be 500,000 times 5.5 times 2 years, because we said this is going to last for how many years? For 2 years. So we use 2 years. If you want to know how much the interest will be in 1 year, then the time changes to 1 year. If you want to know how much the interest will be in 10 years, you put 10 here and then you get 10 years. So we have simple interest, we have compound interest. What we just calculated is called simple interest. So for simple interest is principal times rate times time over 100. So this one is simple. Let's put the word simple here. Okay, so let's go to compound interest. What we calculated before is called simple interest. So for compound interest, what we have to do is start calculating the simple interest of the first year, and for every other year that you want to calculate, take the interest that you already got in the first year, add it to the principal to give you a new principal. Use that new principal to calculate as if you're calculating simple interest again. If we are to calculate the interest using the simple interest method, what we will have is 55,000 for 2 years. Now let's calculate the same interest using compound interest method so you understand the difference between the two. Now, instead of going with 2 years, for compound interest, you're going to calculate the first year, match break, second year, match break, third year, match break. That's the best way to explain it. Okay, so you calculate the first year, get the interest you got, add it to the principal, that becomes your new principal. That is how you calculate the second year. So you are taking the interest, the accumulated interest, and adding it back to the principal every time. Let's illustrate this. Calculate the first year first. Use 500,000 times 5.5. Our time becomes 1 over 100. So this goes to this goes to that. Somebody should be helping me out here now. Okay, so 5,000 times 5.5. We have 27,500. Okay, so this is the first year interest is 27,500, right? Now we take 27,500 and add it back to the principal to give us what? A new principal. So we go from that interest that we got there, go add it back to the principal. We now have a new principal now, which is 527,500. That is the new principal now, right? Times the rate is 5.5 times 1, because you are always using 1 year now. We are not now going full scale of 2 years. We are taking it, gradually. So let's see what this will give us. This will be this all over 100. And we'll have, so we have 527, 500 times 5.1 times 1 year, because for compound interest, we are calculating it annually. For simple interest, you just do a general calculation and it gives you a simple answer. So that's how to say it. For compound interest is a compound answer, which means you're going to be calculating each year separately and then you add all of them together. So you do this one, you get this. Now, what is the compound interest for 2 years? Compound interest for 2 years will be this for the first year added to this for the second year. And that will be what? 29,012.5 plus 27,500. So that will be 56,512.5. Okay, now I will explain it for the last time before we shut down the class for today. Okay, so first thing, calculate the interest for the first year, right? Using the rate and the principal. Now, instead of using 2 years straight up, which is what we did in interest rate, for compound interest, we're going to calculate each year as a separate year. The only difference is that for every other year, we're going to be adding interest to it while we calculate the interest for that second year. For the third year, we take all the interest accumulated, add it back to the principal, it becomes the new principal. So we keep getting a new principal for each year. That's what compound interest is all about. Then when we are done calculating the interest for all the years, we come back and add up all those interests. So now, just for a simple example of what we just did here, we calculate that one, 500,000, the first year interest, since it is principal times rate times time, and the time here is 1 year because we say we're taking it 1 year at a time, right? So this will give us 27,500. Take 27,500, add it back to the principal. It gives us a new principal, which is 527,500. Multiply by the interest rate, multiply by 1 year again, because we are dealing with 1 year at a time, divided by 100. Now we get 29,012.5. So when you want to have the compound interest for that 2 years, it will now be interest for year 1 plus interest for year 2 will give us the compound interest. Now see the difference in the figures. When we did simple interest for straight up 2 years, we got 55,000. When we did compound interest, we got 56,512.5. So next time, if you want to come and borrow money from me, I'm going to tell you I will charge you at compound interest, so you know exactly what I mean. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't done so yet, please, I would like you to click the subscribe button. I'll also be happy if you like and share this video as well. Click your notifications as well so you will get more of these videos from me. Okay then, till next time, it's me, Ogboruche, a real estate agent here in the city of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. God bless you. Bye for now.